What if I told you that there was still an undiscovered country on Earth? You might think I'm talking about a hidden nation or an unknown tribe deep in the jungle. There are parts of our world that we have never seen before. Places so hostile that no human has ever set foot there. Not even the famed ocean explorer Jacques Cousteau. It's so far out of reach that it may as well be on another planet. So what will we discover down there? Will we find fantastic creatures? Maybe even undiscovered species? And what would those species look like? What terrifying things could we find lurking around the bottom of the trench? Until recently, our knowledge of the Mariana Trench was limited to the few expeditions that had dared to venture there. The conditions at the bottom of the trench are so extreme that they create a unique environment unlike anywhere else on Earth. First off, let's talk about oxygen. The air we breathe is about 21% oxygen. The pressure at the bottom of the trench is over 1,000 times that of the surface. That's like having an elephant standing on every square inch of your body. Scientists are developing new ways to explore the depths of the ocean, such as using unmanned submersibles that can withstand the extreme pressures and temperatures of the trench. The Mariana Trench is truly one of the last frontiers on Earth, and we're only just beginning to explore it. So, keep your eyes peeled for updates. These creatures had adapted to survive in the most extreme conditions imaginable, including freezing temperatures, crushing pressures, and complete darkness. As they looked around them, they could see the walls of the trench rising up around them, seemingly stretching into infinity. They felt like they were in a vast, empty abyss, completely cut off from the rest of the world. Some of these creatures were bioluminescent, meaning they could produce their own light to illuminate the darkness. They were about to experience things that no human had ever experienced before. The weight of this knowledge pressed down on them, making it hard to breathe. But they pressed on, eager to see what wonders awaited them. Others had huge, bulging eyes to detect the faintest glimmer of light. Still, others had no eyes at all, relying instead on other senses to navigate their With these new tools, we're sure to make some amazing discoveries in the years to come. As they reached the bottom of the ocean's deepest point, they looked out of the tiny portholes of their vessel and saw a world unlike any they had ever seen before. They saw strange and creepy things living in the darkest depths of the ocean, things that had never been seen by human eyes before. Just imagine the headlines that will make giant monster squid captured on camera for the first time, or new species of bioluminescent fish discovered in Mariana Trench. Who knows what other incredible things we might find? Maybe we'll even discover evidence of life beyond our planet. After all, the Mariana Trench is so remote that it may as well be on another world. And who knows what kind of creatures might be living down there? Most human-made objects aren't built to withstand such extreme pressures. For example, the Trieste was specially designed to withstand the crushing pressures of the Mariana Trench. See, if an ordinary submarine were to try to reach the bottom of the trench, it would be crushed like a soda can. But at the bottom of the Mariana Trench, there's only about 1% oxygen. Now, some animals like us can only survive for a few minutes in such low oxygen levels. But there are creatures that have adapted to thrive in such conditions. And no matter how much oxygen you have, it's hard to stay warm in the Mariana Trench. At the bottom of the trench, temperatures can reach below freezing, but many creatures have adapted to live in such cold temperatures. Some do this by slowing down their metabolism, while others use special proteins to help regulate their body temperature. Temperatures can reach 356 degrees Fahrenheit, while the pressure is over 1,000 times that of the surface. In addition, sunlight cannot penetrate these depths, meaning that the only light comes from bioluminescent creatures, or the ROVs themselves. That's because the Mariana Trench is home to some truly terrifying creatures. The most famous of these is the giant squid. This creature is said to grow up to 43 feet long, making it bigger than a school bus. And while giant squids have never been found in the Mariana Trench, the fact that they do live in the ocean and prefer deeper waters makes it likely that they could show up there someday. And even if you don't encounter a giant squid, you're still in for a scary ride. The Mariana Trench is home to a variety of bioluminescent creatures, whose glowing bodies can startle you in the darkness. Plus, there are all sorts of strange and creepy things living in the depths of the Mariana Trench that we have uneven discovered yet. This lack of sunlight also means that there is no photosynthesis, so the food chain is based on chemosynthesis. Instead of plants producing their own food using sunlight, bacteria use chemicals from the seafloor to create their own food. This forms the basis of the food chain for the unique creatures that live in the trench. Despite these extreme conditions, life still thrives in the Mariana Trench. Scientists have discovered a wide variety of creatures that have adapted to survive in such harsh conditions, such as giant single-celled organisms, deep-sea fish, and even giant squids. Some of these creatures are truly bizarre, such as the ant, which uses a bioluminescent lure to attract prey in the darkness. Others are simply fascinating, such as the tripod fish, which uses its fins to walk along the seafloor. However, in recent years, advances in technology have allowed scientists to map the trench in greater detail than ever before. One such technology is the use of remotely operated vehicles, or ROVs. These robotic submarines are equipped with cameras and other instruments that allow scientists to observe and collect samples from the seafloor without having to send humans into such extreme conditions. For example, in 2015, a team of researchers used an ROV to discover a new species of shrimp-like crustacean that lives near hydrothermal vents in the trench. The discovery of such unique creatures highlights the importance of exploring the Mariana Trench and other deep-sea environments. The Mariana Islands are located in the western Pacific Ocean and are a key part of the Ring of Fire, a horseshoe-shaped belt around the Pacific where volcanoes and earthquakes are common. This is because the Pacific Plate, which makes up much of the Pacific Ocean floor, is slowly being destroyed as it collides with another plate called the Philippine Sea Plate. As a result, the Mariana Islands are the site of some of the deadliest typhoons and earthquakes in history. But they are also home to the deepest part of the ocean, the Mariana Trench, often referred to as the Challenger Deep. But actually, I'm talking about the last true frontier on our planet, the unexplored depths of the ocean. But it was NT until 1960 that the depth of the trench was realized when the United States sent a bathyscaphe called Trieste to explore it. Trieste reached a depth of 35,853 feet, nearly 7 miles into the Mariana Trench, and remains the deepest any person has ever traveled. To put this into perspective, if you stacked up the world's tallest building, the Burj Khalifa, on top of itself 128 times, it would still fall short of reaching the bottom of the Mariana Trench. It's easy to complain that everything is already discovered and there's nothing new to learn. But that couldn't be further from the truth. This is the deepest part of the Pacific Ocean and arguably the most remote place on Earth. Let's take a look at what the Mariana Trench is all about. Let's start with a quick geography lesson. The trench is named after HMS Challenger, a British warship which first surveyed the area in 1875. You can probably imagine how difficult it is to explore such a remote place. But it's not just the unique wildlife that makes the Mariana Trench so fascinating. So, now that we know a bit more about the environment, let's talk about what could go wrong. Now, if you're one of the lucky ones who can handle low oxygen levels and freezing temperatures, you'll need to watch your pressure. But even if you somehow manage to survive the extreme conditions of the Mariana Trench, you may not want to stick around too long. The good news is that we're getting closer and closer to exploring the Mariana Trench, thanks to advances in technology. One thing is for sure though, if we do find anything, it's going to be a sight to behold. When Jacques Piccard and Doan Walsh descended into the Mariana Trench in the Bathyscaphe, Trieste, more than 6 decades ago, they knew they were about to witness something truly remarkable. And the most fascinating things they witnessed was the bizarre and alien-like creatures that lived in the trench. The explorers were also struck by the sheer scale of the Mariana Trench. As the Trieste began its descent into the Mariana Trench, the explorers knew they were entering uncharted territory. What did they see? And what did they feel as they descended into the Mariana Trench? Let us know in the comments below.